Hey everybody, welcome to the infinite regression. Oh boy, man, sometimes I put a lot of pressure on myself for no good reason when I should just be enjoying myself, which is what I should have done all night tonight. But instead, I did this. So, alright, whatever. At least I'll get to watch it tomorrow and be like, I enjoyed myself. Whatever, I did not. Hey, it's Weekend Type Fun Volume 22. Wait a minute. Your nightmares and crap. I was just telling you about my worries. Anyway, but I'm the only one who watches this, so whatever. Okay. Weekend Type Fun Volume 22. Welcome in, everybody. Let's get our friend Stanley the Manly. Every week he comes in here, tells a big old fat whopper of a lie to both himself and us and the listening public. Tells us that he is still sober, and based on his behavior and his everything about him, his big stupid drunkard face and everything else about him, we're just gonna say, yeah, he's still on the sauce. He can bring in as many chips as he wants. You know, I could bring in chips. Anybody could bring in chips. Pack of plastic poker chips, $5, can of spray paint, friggin' $1.50. There you go. Chips. Bring them in. Anyway, Stanley the Manly, with your big sobriety that you're so proud of, hey, why don't you ring us in here? Do the honneurs, as they were, good sir. No, I'm not going to call you that this week. I just need you to do your job and get out of here. Okay, here you go, Stanley the Manly. Weekend Type Fun, Volume 22. That's right. You just slink on out of here. You did your only job, the only thing you need to be awake for, the only thing you need to be sober for. Anyway, let's get a move on. This week's episode, clean, simple, and Scandinavian. Yeah, that's what that design looks like, I guess. Med den värld Pimbyrton after Skagen Pimbyrtonen. Spela Timat Rem. Spela. Okay. There's no way. There's absolutely no way whatsoever we could keep the Scandinavian thing going. Oh, jeez. What were we thinking? I am currently filled with self-doubt. Oh, that's how I felt when I wrote these. That's true. So if any portion of this program is entertaining to anyone, up to and including myself, I'll be the most surprised of all. Yeah, whenever I do these, like, it's funny because I literally don't want anyone to watch these. Like, I literally and actually don't. I mean, if you do, it's whatever. Like, you make your own choices in life, but I'm just saying, like, I didn't make it to be watched. You know, I just made it to make it, which is, you know, I enjoy it most of the time, putting it together. Actually, when it starts coming together, it does feel pretty awesome. So, you know, whatever. We're already at a point where I'm like, I'm fine with it, guy. Like, it's okay. Just calm down. Calm down, preparation me. Like, you made it through to the end of whatever this is going to be. And now that I'm in presenter mode, I'll just, like, try and make it work. Whatever it is. And to be honest, there have been times, writer me, there have been times where what you've written was a lot more hilarious than what I brought to the table. So just, like, Broheim, hey, I think the next slide, I'm going to make a prediction, uh, remembering how things go. So there's some reference to Braxton, Braxton over here on my right. So I always, like, you can't hear it in the mix at all. But I do point over here to my right. I lean to the right side of the microphone, but it's not a directional recording. And so, and I don't go through and fix things in post. So you have no way to know that I always point to my right and say Braxton. Anyway, so this next slide probably says something about Braxton being imaginary. You okay with that, buddy? With, the I did finger quotes just then. The person who wrote these slides calling you imaginary. You okay with that, Braxton? He says, yeah. I mean, he wrote these, so whatever. No, really, I don't think I can pull this off. Oh, this is you doing your whole self-doubt thing, Braxton. Okay, pull it together, dude. Like, come on. Anyway, you don't have to watch this if you don't want to. Seriously, it might not be worth seeing. Braxton. Buddy. Come on. Little, faith in yourself. You can do things. Like, we hired you to do this. You got the job. Like, you can do the job. We trust you. Anyway, the host will attempt to tell an imaginary person named Braxton to ease up on himself or something, but we all know there is no Braxton. There's just one guy who does this for himself, and sometimes he wonders if it's worth it. Oh my God, you guys. Hey, put your hands together. Everybody clap. We're all clapping right now. This is happening. We're clapping. No, we're all clapping. Hey, Clarissa, put down the wine. Put down the wine. Caden and Aiden. Kaysen. Holy frick. Ian. You know what? You guys suck. I'm trying to... Braxton did a good thing, and, like, this whole thing that he wrote about him not existing is funny, and the way that I, Room Pemberton, or whatever, because we're doing Scandinavian week this week, like, whatever my name is in Slovakian, Braxton. Am I close? Slovakian. Well, I know there were the Czechs. They were the Eastern European, right? But the Slovaks were Scandinavian, right? No, they didn't teach geography at my school. Anyway, moving on. Okay. Now that I've started off well, I was thinking I could do this thing where I look at stock photos and, like, make up stories about them and stuff. Oh, man. This is a bad idea. I already tell this is not gonna go well. I'm just putting that out there, people. This is not gonna go well. I don't remember what any of these pictures are, but I'm not doing myself a favor in the make it up on the spot department. Okay, make up stories about them and stuff, and then maybe in the future when I'm recording this, I can somehow find a way to make this funny. No pressure, friend. So me right now, when I'm recording this, hopefully I will make it funny. No pressure on me. Okay. That's... Okay, we're just getting right into it. So we have, a little chunkster with some meat nunchucks here, obviously. So, yeah, this is Taylor, Taylor Jorgensen. He is from St. Cloud, and he just loves himself a good sausage. Loves a good sausage. And, he was raised on them, but then mom started noticing that he was a little bit more of a porkster than some of the other kids in his class photo. She looked around and she's like, "Oh God, ours is the biggest one. It's all that, bratwurst and cheese he eats." And does this whole thing where he takes a whole nunchuck worth of bratwurst and tosses them in a frying pan, and it just grates cheese over it until the cheese goes from solid to soupy and then back to solid again. And then once it's back to solid again, he just scoops the whole hot mess out onto honestly, it doesn't fit on a regular plate, goes onto a serving tray. It's one of those silver serving trays. Well, it used to be silver. It's rather tarnished now. It's all blackened and got that weird, multicolored rainbowish effect, right, leading up to the black, and yeah, it's not looking good, but that's what he's been eating this monstrosity off of. Anyway, so little Taylor here, mom sends him away to fat camp in the summertime. He thinks he's going to adventure camp. He thinks he's going to be riding horses and doing archery and learning orienteering, whatever the frick that is, and learn to tie knots, like learn how to tie a really good noose so he can, like, when he goes through that goth phase a couple years from now, he can really do an accurate version of that and really freak people out at the mall. Anyway, so yeah, little Taylor here, he gets sent to fat camp, and he's not happy with it at all. He's like, "Oh my God, this is some bullcrap. Like, I was supposed to be doing stuff that would prepare me for the day when I'm freaking people out of the mall as a goth kid." Anyway, so yeah, he's all pissed off about it when he finds out that it's actually fat camp, and there's like nothing but lettuce and few cherry tomatoes, a shredded carrot. That's like it. You go through all the bins in the kitchen you want. That's all you're gonna find. It's just salad and no ranch or anything like that. Like no like solid dressings. It's just like oil and vinegar and whatnot. And that's it. And so like no reason to go to the kitchen, but he knows where the good shit's at, and he goes into the quartermaster has a back room for staff and faculty. He doesn't let any kids back there ever. Well, little Taylor knows what's up. He kicks that door in, gets himself a nice nunchuck worth of Wiener Schnitzel there, and yeah, he just goes freaking ape shit on the whole camp. He's taking fat kids down 9 at a time. He's like recreating that fairly well acclaimed Nintendo Switch game Astral Chain. He's like pulling that nonsense with some linked sausages. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, he's just going to town, and then he steals a friggin' bus, drives all the way back home. Cops follow him the whole way, but like they can't pull a pit maneuver on a bus, and he's just taking up 2 lanes on the highway the whole way home. They can't get around him. There's nothing they can do, and yeah, pulls up into his own driveway in the big freaking bus, and the cops, they didn't even know. They see it's a kid, and they're like, "What the? Oh my God, what is happening?" And yeah, his mom comes running down the front steps there. She's like, "Oh my God, Taylor, you're not supposed to be back until you're skinny." And he's like, "Skinny this, Mom," and he just whacks her right in the head with the meat nunchucks, and he pulls this face right before like 20 cops full on tackle him to the ground. He did a couple months in juvie, but you know what? Like next year, he's going to adventure camp. So he will have that goth phase, will have that noose. And you know what? The goth phase is going to be good for him. He's going to thin out quite a bit during that time. And so when he becomes an adult, you're going to actually want to know him because, like, he's going to be a good-looking dude who's been through a thing or two. And so he's going to have this, like, crazy gumption and whatnot. So, yeah. Yeah, definitely hang with Taylor. Post fat camp, post adventure camp, post goth, like wait for him to get it all together and he's gonna be okay. Anyway, oh my god, yeah. Here's Steve Steverson. Look, the breakup with Diane is not going well. It is not going well, and everybody knows it. Like, look, everybody knows, first of all, that she broke up with him. She broke up with him, and she was cheating on him. She was cheating on him the whole time. Yeah, it's true. And what makes it worse is that she was cheating on him with his cousin that she was introduced to at his brother's wedding. And, you know, like, yeah, it was a whole thing. It was the first time she met the family and everything. But then, you know, she meets this cousin, and apparently they hit it off really well, and apparently too well. And, you know, pretty soon, you know, this is going on behind his back. And, like, poor Steve, I mean, he doesn't know anything about it until, you know, it's his birthday. And here's what you can't see is this cake that he's lying on here. It says, "Happy birthday, I'm leaving you." And this was like the last thing that he got from her, because he was still like under the impression that like he had a ring in his possession. He was just looking for the right moment to pop the question. He just wanted it to be something really memorable, but also something really spontaneous. And he was just waiting for like a month and a half for that opportunity, you know. And yeah, 1 month of that month and a half, she was cheating on him, and he didn't even know. So yeah, and then, you know, she tells him with a birthday cake, and let's just say Steve's not doing well. I mean, COVID hasn't been easy for any of us, but Steve's having a rough time, you know. And I hate to say it, but we're gonna have to ask like a friend of a friend to like just go make out with him, just to like, I don't know, breathe some life back into him. I mean, she can tell him like, "Oh, I only like you as a friend," the next day, but like just give him a little something to get him thinking about anybody else. Like that, he's in a bad way is what I'm saying. Anyway, let's have some sort of make out intervention with Steve, because that it's a sad case, people. Oh, yeah, this. My God. Well, dumbest thing. You know, he's normally the guy who, in our office, refills and puts on the water jug. And these things are, man, they are a handful. They are something else. You know, and I'm not like athletic or whatever it takes to put these things on. I'm just not coordinated, you know. They hired me for my, you know, filing and typing skills. That's what I do. I type things, I file things. Sometimes I type things that I've filed, and sometimes I file things that I've typed. And sometimes I fax things that I filed, and some things I type things that I faxed, you know? and it's just a never-ending cycle. But anyway, Gary here, he normally does this whole water jug interchange, but it's he wasn't there. Like he had a sick day that day, with COVID the way it is, the symptoms are really innocuous. So, like, you get a cough and you're like, well, I better stay home. He stayed home, well, most of the day. He went out and got tested, and thank God it was negative, and he called, and the boss man was like, hey, you just come in first thing tomorrow, and it's fine. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll take the rest of the day, because it was like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. He still could have come in for like a half day, but the boss was like, no, it's all right. You've had a cough or whatever. It's fine. And so he's out. Everybody needs water. Nobody knows what to do. I'm the only other guy on the floor other than the boss man, and he's not changing this thing. That he gets paid the big bucks. He pays himself the big bucks to not have to deal with crap like this. So, all the ladies around the office, they start looking at me and they're like, well, you have that Y chromosome. You got to be able to do this kind of stuff, right? And I look at Linda, and like everybody knows that Linda is a secret bodybuilder. Like, she is stacked like a Mack truck. I mean, she is like built of American steel. You know what I'm saying? She's, could probably be a competitive boxer in her weight class. This is what I'm saying. Like, just, real sturdy woman, very well muscled and whatnot. Anyway, I would have thought she could do it, and they called me a sexist for even suggesting such a thing, and I'm just like, I don't see how that's sexist. That's weird, and because I hate to say it, I consider myself a feminist, but like, that's never a thing you want to tell a woman, especially if she's angry at you for not refilling the water jug. So I go get the stupid water jug, pop the seal off of it, and I'm already fumbling it. I haven't even got the lid open yet, and they can already see I'm fumbling with it. And some of them are like, oh, we should tell him no. We should maybe think about his thing about Linda. But everybody else is like, nah, that Y chromosome, he's got to do the thing. Like, come on, we all know the deal. And so I go to put it on there, and, guess who decided to come in for a half day anyway? Huh? Guess who decides to come in right as I cause 40 days of flooding, that we weren't prepared for with any sort of ark. Now all the animals are dead, and God's up there being like, now this one wasn't me. I swear to me, this one wasn't on me. Look, they're not even a rainbow, because it didn't rain. This is just, you got some clumsy ass down there, some office building, trying to, change out a bottle of water. Yeah, it still doesn't explain why Gary's not wearing a shirt. I mean, you're coming in for a half day, but you can't come in with half of your clothes. Come on, Gary. Anyway, that's what God has to say to Gary. Come on, Gary. Anyway, sorry, I was performing as Yahweh and not as the one and only true God, which is Emmylou Harris, who would like see this, immediately recognize the situation, and then write a great tearjerker of a song about it that'll make you remember that time when Gary died. Anyway, moving on. Oh my God. Yep. Knew this was coming. Knew this was absolutely coming down the pike. So yeah, you all know the comedian Carrot Top. Well, See, the thing is, people like to make fun of him, and, everybody knows a couple things about him. First of all, he's a lame comedian who makes lame jokes. He does, this prop comedy, which is like, is that the lowest form of comedy? No, it's not. What Jeff Dunham does is the lowest form of comedy. And if you think Jeff Dunham is funny, I am sorry, you and I do not agree on the definition of comedy. If you're like the whole racist on a stick thing is freaking hilarious, then what? What are you doing? And is like, dead terrorist and like, what the frick? And everybody's like, oh my God, Jeff Dunham's so funny. And it's, and the only remotely funny character is the old man. But, like, he's not even that good of an old man caricature because, like, Statler and Waldorf did it better first. Anyway, it's true. Statler and Waldorf killed it. So, yeah, like, first of all, know this. Number one, Carrot Top is not the least funny man in the world. He's not. And I'll tell you this. Some of his prop jokes are actually pretty funny. Like, you should see his most recent material. There's a reason he's still getting paid. And there's a reason why a lot of, big name comedians actually really respect him and respect what he brings to his craft, But anyway, you might know about the comedy. What you don't know is the terrible birth defect he was born with. Not only, obviously, born with, unfortunately pale skin, freckles, red hair, all of the trademark markings of what people very cruelly, yet very often call a ginger, and, the people of that complexion go one of two ways. Either they're like the most gorgeous people you've ever seen, or they're freaking terrifying, And, yeah. Guess which way our friend Carrot Top went, huh? Guess which way? He had a rough childhood. Not gonna lie to you, he had a very rough childhood. He didn't have this whole nose carrot thing under control. Had carrots coming out of his ears. And, people already called him Carrot Top even before these things really started sprouting during puberty. Puberty was a rough time for this kid. And, he got called a lot of names. He got bullied every day, but guess what? That made him tough. So when he goes out there on the road as a comedian, after he's figured a thing or two about nose and ear trimming, been to that store, the one, Sharper Image, has been in there, and they've got that magic trimmer that just, cleans all this business out. Especially if you got, some sort of garden variety vegetable coming out of your face. It's more common than you think. And carrots actually aren't that bad. You've got to feel bad for a kid who's got something like, snow peas coming out because they're real floppy, and it's hard to get a good angle on them because they're real thin. And, man, those are so hard to trim out. But you get you a nice, firm, sturdy carrot. That's actually not that bad. So, anyway, yeah, he started trimming up this area. So, obviously, he doesn't look like this. And he started lifting an insane amount of weights and eating protein or steroids or whichever one makes you look like how he looks now. And yes, he's still the terrifying version of this complexion. But you know what? He's reasonably well respected, reasonably funny comedian. And, how many people can you say that about? Can you say it about the person making this show? Huh? Can you? No. Anyway, moving on. Oh my God. Yeah. This guy. Oh my god. Uh Corky Pascatelli. This freaking guy, I can't believe he made it in here. Corky. Oh, come on, Corky Pascatelli. Anyway, so this guy, um, his family is dirty money going all the way back to Sicily 200 years ago. And everybody knows that the feds know it. They just can't prove it. Well, until this numbnuts comes along, he is the dumbest member of the family by far. He is, oh my God. Corky here just really is capital D dumb, and he had what was, not a bad idea because he heard from a friend that people on the internet are sending money via Bitcoin and other, cryptocurrencies and whatnot. And he had the thought, like, what if we could, sneak in on those transactions and take money from people who use cryptocurrency. And yeah, that's a solid idea. You figure out how to do that. Oh my God, you'd be the number one criminal of the digital age. I mean, there are billions and billions of dollars out there to be made if you find a way to steal cryptocurrency. So, make the Lufthansa heist look like nothing. Make the Lufthansa heist look like, a bully stealing a kid's lunch money, honestly. So, anyway, Corky here. Yeah, Corky Pascatelli. This friggin' genius finds out how to at least find out what the contact information is for individual users, which is actually harder than you'd think. But he finds out how to look people up who use cryptocurrency and how to video conference them. And so, like, rather than using this as a back end into their account as a way to steal their money, he does this nonsense. He opens up a freaking video chat window and pulls a gun on the laptop. And the people are like, wait, where are you? And he's like, I can't say. I'm some sort of a broad stereotype over here, and I can't say where I am, but I'm a real smart guy. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Gabish. I'm a smart guy, and I'm going to go down as the number one criminal of all time. Yeah. Anyway, that's our friend. Corky Pascatelli. He's a real idiot. He holds the record for quickest time from committing the crime to being caught by the FBI for having committed the crime. Literally, he had set up an open office building immediately across the street from a field headquarters of the FBI, and so they literally just walked downstairs and then took the elevator up the other side of the building. And yeah, because I mean the two buildings are connected. Anyway, so yeah, he got caught really, really quickly and easily, and ruined the whole idea. And so now still nobody has figured out how to do cybercrime, but he's still technically came the closest, but he's also the dumbest. So yeah, that's really wonder about this guy. I mean, he's the kind who wouldn't know why dropping the soap in the shower is bad. You know what I'm saying? He's not like special, but he's like not special. You know what I'm saying? It's like in betweensies. Anyway, yeah, Corky Pascatelli, real piece of work. Hope he doesn't mind prison because he's gonna be there for a while. Okay, now some images seem like The real story is, how does this image exist in the first place? I mean, like, let's be honest. Some like ballerinas come over, some dancers come over, and they're like, yes, we will take photos for you of us dancing and whatnot. And they're like, yeah, put on some tights. And they're like, yeah, the tights, that's normal for dancing. And then we put on some sort of top, and they're like, yeah, but not so fast. With this top business, how about you put some bottoms on as a top, and then, just we're going to stack you 3 deep or 3 high. And they're like, yeah, okay, I suppose we could do that. I mean, I came here as a trained dancer to take trained dancer pictures. So I guess I could put on bottoms as a top and then get in a pile? What? This isn't a weird sex thing, is it? You have to tell me if it's a weird sex thing. Let's see. No, Getty Images. This happened in America, not in Germany, I'm guessing. So, and Tara Moore, that's the photographer's name. This is a woman who was like, all right, now pile up. So she couldn't have been like, they couldn't have been like, oh, are we going to be in the next, Harvey Weinstein type of deal? Where it's like, us too, we're also taken advantage of. Like, nope, just woman to woman. She's like, hey, I'm a lady. I know what it's like. I'm going to need you to put the bottoms on the top. Like, I can't get over the fact that this even exists. Anyway, yeah. So, in the Galapagos, where there are no natural predators, because look at these, these get preyed on. See one of these walking down the street, New York City, like, oh my God, get sexually harassed 57 times before you hit your first block, like, forget that 10 hours of walking in Manhattan. You've seen that guy, or that woman, and all the guys are like staring and catcalling and all that sort of stuff. And she's just, like dressed fairly regular, like yoga pants and like reasonable outfit. And all the guys are like, hey, check out them buns. Yeah, woo, for 10 hours she's getting this, like, you imagine one of these walking outside just being like, well, I'm just going to take a quick break to go stand on a random street corner in New York City. Like, what the frick? That's not going to go well. Like, you got natural predators in New York City for these kind of animals that you do not have in the Galapagos. Anyway, so yeah, these critters, grew in the shape of shapely feminine buttockuses and whatnots, because of the evolutionary advantage of attracting humans for the purposes of, perpetuating the species, because they see this and they're like, oh, hey, how's it going? And they like rub up on, and then that releases, seed pods to other ones, and onward, and they just sort of are like, yep, that's all we need. Anyway, photosynthesis. Oh my God, right? Okay. Oh, yeah. This is Yoko Takanashi. She really, really gets off on messing with white guys, because the whole like stereotype about white guys being like, ooh, Asian girl, getting all weird and whatnot when it's an Asian girl. And white guys legitimately do that. They legitimately absolutely do. This guy is Derek Chesterton, and yeah, he is just, you know, regular, average, everyday, normal guy, and he wasn't looking for trouble, you know, and he just goes to the bar like he normally does on a Friday night and orders up a couple of drinks for himself. He's not looking for any company. He's not looking for anything other than just a place to relax and unwind. That's all he's looking for, you know. And then in walks Toko Yakahashi here, and like, yeah, she sees him and it starts like giving him the eye and like starts mouthing things at him from across the bar, and he's like, I'm just sitting here, but like, is this on? Like, are we two consenting adults who are about to consent? You know, because he doesn't know what's happening. Like, he didn't instigate this business. And anyway, normally what she does is entrapment of guys who would normally be like, oh, hey, baby, you're totally Asian and whatnot. Oh, yeah. I totally like anime and stuff, so maybe you could be like my super submissive anime girl, you know, and like all the white guys who meet her think she's supposed to be all submissive. And so over the years, she's just gotten fed up with that nonsense. And now she just pulls guns on dudes. And like, it's not right, especially when the guy is like not even, it's not that he's not into Asian girls. It's just that he just, you know, he likes cute girls no matter who they are. He's single right now. He's not cheating on anybody. He's not doing anybody any disservices. You know, he's being honest about who he is. She's not being honest about who she is. And, yeah, you know, she takes him back to her place and throws a teddy bear at him, throws money all over the ground. It's like, you see how do you like it? Do you like being treated this way? I'm whining and dining you, you know, like, it's like, this is the early part of the relationship where you throw money and you buy cute stuff like teddy bears. And he's like, I'm just like, I don't know what I expected. I did not expect this. And she's like, yeah, you're a piece of trash. You're one of those white guys who's just all about Asian girls. You think I'll be so all submissive and whatnot. And he's like, actually, no. I just kind of like thought you were cute and whatever. And I've never dated an Asian girl, but like, I've never not wanted to date an Asian girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not like picky. I just don't meet a lot of Asian girls out here, you know, in the Midwest. You know, guy grows up in Battle Creek, Michigan, and that's, you know, it's not the sort of place where you meet a lot of Asian ladies. It's just, you know, it's a blue collar town, and then you stay in blue collar towns all over Minnesota and Wisconsin as you're getting into your career, and you still not a lot of Asian ladies, like just surprisingly few. Anyway, so this one time he actually is like, yeah, maybe we'll make it happen with an Asian girl. She's winking at me. You know, he gets taken by her and his life is being threatened, and he doesn't know her. Like, he doesn't know whether or not she's going to blow his head off. So who's the victim here? Really, is what I'm asking, you know, because, like, yeah, she's right. She's been through this a million times. Like, so many white guys are so weird about Asian girls. She just happened to find one who's not. So, you know, it's a weird situation is what it is. Worthy of a photo. Anyway, moving on. Oh, really? You're going to ask me about these two? Well, look, they will tell you that they met at a singles retreat, but they actually met online. And it wasn't it wasn't like a dating app. It was a like a one night stand, like hit him up quick and be like, do you swipe or do you not swipe? And they both swiped, and they met up and had a great time, and that was that. I think we know about these guys. I think we all do. I don't need to tell you their name, do I? I mean, this picture is on their wedding announcement. You have it. It's held to your fridge right now with a magnet. Go check. Go check. Also, that's her last name. Go check. Christine Go check. But it's not going to be Go check forever. It's not, because his last name is Lundgaard. That's Lundgaard with 2 A's in the guard. And, yeah. So she's going to be Mrs. Roger Lundgaard. Anyway, so, yeah. Christine, Roger, very happy for them both. I don't know why this is in here, like as if it's a weird story or anything, like just two people fall in love. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this one is very, very normal. See, here's the deal, is that, this gay couple, they have opened an organic bakery, and they are only going to make delicious baked goods with only the most organic ingredients your brain can even comprehend. But guess what? Guess who wants a big old slice of the pie? Yeah, guess what? It's big old slice of the pie taker right here. This is the IRS holding, small businesses very much accountable for their taxes, but not holding big businesses accountable for their taxes at all. And these, and they've instituted, like, obviously you all know about the new clown with a gun policy. Like, it used to be scary when a guy with a briefcase showed up in your office and he just looked like he had a stick up his butt. And you're like, who are you? And he's like, I'm here from the IRS. And your eyes roll and you're like, here we go. Yeah, that would be one thing. The other entirely is this business of like, hey, yeah, you know how Amazon.com is a much, much bigger business than these guys and what they've got going. Like, we all know that. Their organic bakery is going to be fine, but like ultimately it'll be fine, but they're never going to make much money from it because of this freaking guy right here, constantly showing up and taking a big old chunk of money at the end of every year. But you know who doesn't have to pay a lot of money? The guys whose competing prices they are checking by looking on Amazon. Like, come on. Really? That's how we're going to live. And meanwhile, these billionaires are shooting themselves into space, and the little guys like this, who all they want to do is have an organic bakery where you can come in and you can, get a blueberry Danish, and know that the flour is organic, and the blueberries that have been, mushed and sugared and turned into the delicious filling of your Danish, that those are organic too, and not just organic, but locally sourced. And, you just appreciate so much the kind of craftsmanship and care that these guys put into their business. But guess what? They might not last another year because of this clown right here. Go make the wealthy pay for what they owe and give the rest of us a break. COVID's been hard on people. And look at these guys, keeping their chins up in spite of it all. And as an interracial gay couple, too, I mean, they have to face down so much as it is. Why are you making it harder, you freaking gun-wielding clowns over at the IRS? Anyway, last but not least, right. So, this is a well-known practice, religious observance. These are the Sisters of the Perpetual Mask, and they are a type of Catholic nun. They are known for their dueling prowess and their flower arranging. They're very good at both of those things. And their weird thing that they do is, they take in orphans and they raise them until they're old enough to be sent out into the world. And when they let the kids go out into the world, they're raised here, they're educated here, they have all of their needs provided for here with tender, loving care from these women who are so humble and so religiously devout. Anyway, so they just have one rule for the orphans who leave this place and go on and find happiness and get married, especially when they're getting married. They want a picture. The sisters need a picture. They need to see that young, attractive people are still getting it on. And that's the only thing that keeps these two devoted to the Lord. That's right. So, anyway, this is obviously one of their former orphans, and she's doing all right for herself. And these two look at this picture and sigh, and that's part of their devotion. Did I do it? What? 5 minutes of time? Multiply that by 10, buddy. My God. I had no faith in myself whatsoever. Like, it may not be funny, it may not be interesting, but I can spin a yarn. So, I can talk. Can I make it good? No, not necessarily. Like, that is openly debatable. But can I talk? Holy frick, can I talk? Anyway, is any of it any good? No. Of course not. Are you crazy? Oh, hey, check out all these oddly similar images for anxiety. They are all oddly similar, like similar art styles, similar ways of expressing the concept. That one's a little, but there's even the colors. There are specific patterns in the colors, like they're all very similar. Hey, 14 women, 3 men, 1 woman trapped in a birdcage inside a man's empty head. Yeah. Sounds about right for anxiety, I suppose. I could really empathize with these 14 women, 3 men, and 1 woman trapped in a birdcage inside a man's empty head. No, really. Thumbs up to the guy who wrote this. I suppose some women are trapped in men's empty minds. Yeah, I'm right. Wait, are you saying that you acknowledge the existence of transgendered people, a woman trapped inside a man's body? Or are you saying that transgendered people are dumb? Wait a minute. Suppose some women are trapped in they're empty minds. Oh, like as if you had to be empty-minded to be transgendered. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Oh, it's the one you think it is. That's not helping. Come on, man. I can't be caught supporting anti-LGBTQ ideas. That is factually correct. Like, given the fact that I actually field a lot of complaints from the LGBTQ kids who tell me, when people are bullying them over their sexuality, and it happens so frequently, and I am the one person that they can go to. I sponsor the GSA, the Gay Straight Alliance. Why is that A not capitalized? And I teach the only drama class in town, which, like, so many LGBTQ kids take drama. And so, like, yeah, and I have too many trans kids in my club right now, not to mention the ones who have graduated, for me to even act like I'm not okay with trans people. Not to mention that I have 2 trans nephews as well. Like, come on, for listing out trans people in my life. Like, there are a lot. Yeah, transgendered people are mad totes dope to the max, bro. Also, don't you think my verbiage is on top of the fleek? Oh, thank God. Yeah. I'm so glad that it turned out that whoever wrote those slides, Braxton, oh my goodness, I was so relieved that you didn't make it sound like I was down with someone who does not like transgendered people. That would not have been okay. And also I'm saying no to the thing about whether or not you have a good grasp of current slang terms. It's not that I'm up to date. I am not. Like, somebody used the term JIT, JIT, in my freshman English class that I was like, is that a bad word? Do I need to look it up? And it just means younger, Anyway, so yeah, and they told me that, and I didn't believe them, and I had to go look it up on Urban Dictionary later. I was like, oh, they were telling me the truth. I'm just saying, there is no way that kids are being like, is my stuff on top of the fleek? It's mad totes dope to the max. Like, that's not how kids. Hey, so how'd we do? This is a transition slide. Did the pictures of anxiety work out? I mean, I guess I did fly through them. So what are we up to now? 9 minutes? Closer to 59 minutes. Closer to a freaking hour, you dingus. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna be good on time. Okay, but has any of it been good? No! I told you that last time. Was it funny? At least to me, and I have pretty low standards. Dude, you're gonna have to watch it tomorrow. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Either you like this or you don't. Like, we made it together because we're both the same person. Braxton, back me up. Oh my God, you idiot. Just on this slide, the person gets all up in their face about, like, hey, we're the same. Come on, like, it's a YouTube channel nobody freaking watches. Like, how upset could you be? And if anybody watches, they never make it this far into a video. You're the only one that does, so whatever. It's fine. The next thing starts on the next thing. It might be something, I don't know. Put a little faith in yourself, you dingus. Oh, yeah, reference this imaginary so-called Braxton again. Yeah, Braxton, you're a dingus for not being all about yourself. Here's the next thing. Yeah, this needs to be addressed. Can we talk about those ticket scalping companies commercials? I won't say which ticket scalping company because I will not give them free advertising for being the freaking worst. But you know who I'm talking about if you've seen these ads where they have the talking butts and they're like, oh yeah, I went and saw an opera. Yeah, that's right, opera. Don't you look at me that way. I'm a talking butt and I go to operas. It's like, what the frick are you doing? Like, especially the guy, like, his buttocks are like inhuman the way they move. Like, he better be wearing some prosthetics of some sort. Like, for real, because it is disturbing. Oh, and you, little Miss Red Pants, coming on to me like that, asking if you could take me out to breakfast tomorrow when we've only just met. Telling me things about what you like to do to me in a cheap motel on the edge of town. Telling me things about the one by the airport with the hourly rates. Giving me directions, telling me it's the one with a purple neon bed on the sign. Oh, that sounds shady as frick. As if I would go and do unspeakable things to a person like you, like we both know I want to. I am a married man. And on this slide, he apologizes to his wife for comments that made it seem like he wanted to run away with just the talking butt of a woman from a ticket scalping company's actual real life commercial. Lovely wife who will more than likely be sitting right across from me when I'm watching this tomorrow. I freaking hate those commercials. I cannot look at them. I find them physically revolting. And so I have no attraction whatsoever to the woman with the red pants. I actually look away in utter disgust, and it doesn't matter whose butt is on the screen. The way they make the move is just like is not good. And I freaking hated this company before, but now I'm like, oh god damn them to hell. It's for real. Cannot handle it. Anyway, the next thing, a review of books or something. I have utterly no faith in this concept right now. I can't imagine anyone's watching, and we're probably only 17 minutes in. Yeah, we'll probably hit an hour 17 for real. Book number 1, James Patterson, Two Sisters Detective Agency, and Candace Fox, who actually wrote it. Okay, this kind of stuff pisses me off. Okay, if you're Tom Clancy, if you're Danielle Steele, if you're James Patterson, if you're a bunch of other authors, there's a thing called corporate authorship, where it's like you get to the author James Patterson isn't just James Patterson. He is the freaking concept of a James Patterson type, and other people publish their books under his name because they're like, yeah, this is like something James Patterson would write. And so he'll be like, yeah, I'll take all the freaking credit for it. You'll get paid for it, but it's going to be my name on it to help move copies. And Candace Fox just be like, okay, that sounds fine. I don't need any publicity for doing literally all the work, I'm not down with this concept at all. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It makes me furious. It is the bastardization of literature, if you even want to call this literature, which I don't. Otherwise, it'd be in the 808 section of the freaking library. Thank you very much, 808's literature. I know my Dewey Decimal System. Don't frick with me. Anyway, book number 2. Quick fact, books aren't even a single click away on the Amazon.com homepage anymore. Yeah, it's true. They don't show up on the homepage. They don't. It's not even books. It's not books. How did that happen so quickly? We used to buy books. That was the thing. Amazon still pretended to be a bookseller. And we were like, yeah, that's where we buy books. And, I don't know, maybe it's because people don't read books anymore. I don't know. But, oh, that's right. Actually, I have bought books recently. I have purchased books recently. And if they're giving you stuff based on what you buy, then shouldn't it be like, hey, you bought books on, brainwashing techniques and the occult? Which are actually true. Oh, goodness. Oh, and you bought a sacred text of Buddhism. Yeah, there you go. Like, oh, I'm just messing up my Amazon recommendations for sure. But no, I bought books recently. I have. So I should be getting books as recommendations because I've shown that I will spend money on that. Anyway, book number 2. Indra Nooyi, former chairman and CEO of PepsiCo. My Life in Full, Work, Family, and Our Future. Okay, this is the kind of self-serving bullcrap that I hate. You're the CEO of PepsiCo, and you're like, oh, my life in full. This is work, family, and our future. Who the frick even are you, Indra Nooyi? And look, obviously you're a woman. Obviously you are not white, so you had to like fight and scratch and claw to get your way to the top of a corporation. And like, good on you, girl. Like, hooray, hooray. Hooray for you. You did an amazing thing, you probably feminist or whatever. Which, like, I hope you are, because feminism's where it's at. Is the locale in which it is situated, which is the more grammatically correct way of saying it's where it's at. But I'm telling you, like, this whole thing of I was the CEO of Pepsi, like, come the frick on, Pepsi. They produce so many single-use plastics that are poisoning the environment. They're terrible for the health of the entire nation. You know, the makers of Mountain Dew that like has rotted more teeth out of more friggin' backwoodsy rural white folk than anything else. Like, there's so many problems in our society that are directly the fault of PepsiCo and, you know, and Coca-Cola to a similar degree. And like, these friggers shouldn't be proud of their freaking life when what you did with your life was like, I was the CEO of something big, even though I'm an ethnic woman. And it's like, well, good for you, ethnic woman. But why couldn't you been the CEO of like protecting the frick environment? The CEO of like not making a bajillion plastic bottles and then chucking them into the ocean and adding to that Texas-sized patch of water in the freaking Pacific. Oh my God. Like, I don't want to read your goddamn biography. Like, what? And I know this was ghostwritten, by the way. You just dictated it to someone, so frick this book. Oh, God. This nonsense. Okay. This has got to stop. Like, look, I'm telling you. So when I worked in the library, worked in public library for under a year, worked in academic library for a decade, you know, and public library for, you know, not as long. But I've spent a lot of time in public libraries, and I've worked in one now for at least a little bit to have a good inside view of like differences between academic and public libraries. Anyway, the differences in an academic library, people check out books with like super boring titles and no pictures that are like the key to understanding the universe and like making everything better and more awesome. And, you know, like actual serious stuff. You know, people checking out books on like, you know, passive heating and cooling of buildings and making things more environmentally sound and whatnot, you know, from a living in a city standpoint. And then, you know, it's Indian students checking those things out. And so they're looking to bring that information back to their homeland and whatnot and like alleviate the suffering of millions potentially, right? So those are books that people are checking out and you're like, oh, cool. All right. Awesome. Yes, do that. And then you go to a public library and people's grandmas are either filthy dirty and are checking out 50 Shades of Grey. And then we had this incident where this lady was leaving her phone number in particularly moving chapters of 50 Shades of Grey. And we had to call the number and be like, ma'am, you can't. They wanted me to make the call, and I was like, I am a man. Like, this woman is clearly leaving her phone number in 50 Shades of Grey in hopes that a man will call. I am terrified of how she will answer that call. Anyway, so yeah, we had one of the female staff do it, and we all listened. Like, we all listened to that phone call. So we're like, what's she gonna say? Anyway, jeez. Yeah, and what she did say was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was just, like gave some nothing, like just was like, I'm sorry." Didn't even acknowledge that like it was weirdly sexual or anything. It was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. Are you going to charge me for the book?" And we were like, "No, we were able to erase it because you wrote it in pencil, but please stop." And she's like, "Okay, I'll stop." And that's it. That's the entire. I wish that there was more to that story about dirty grandma being like, and then whips and chains. Oh, I'm going to write my phone number. See if I can find me an older gentleman that wants to do this in the boudoir. Like, holy frick, Granny. So they either go that way with it, or they go the super clean cut, like, oh, he can't see my elbows because they're too modest, but we still want to fall in a very chaste Christianly love, a very covered up with heavy cotton cloths and heavy woolen cloths, and no freaking buttons. It's all ties and stuff and whatnot, you know. But Amish romance, what the frick? That makes less sense than whips and chains and stuff. Like, at least whips and chains, you're like, oh, it's a sex thing. Moving on. Like, is this a sex thing where it's like, he can't see my ankles even after our wedding night? And it's like, and you're like, ooh, I like that. Like, what? Why are you reading this? I don't understand. Anyway. Oh, yeah, great. Now Amish romances are going to start showing up in my suggestions. Probably not, because Amazon isn't about books anymore. Because like a dingus, I'm using my actual Amazon account to pull these images. You're fine, dude. Don't worry about it. It's totally fine. Time to throw him off the scent. The Necronomicon. Necronomicon Ex Mortis. The Book of the Dead. Published just in time to be included in Army of Darkness, the greatest movie ever made. Absolutely. No. The answer is no. Hey, but at least I didn't tell how I met Bruce Campbell and he made fun of me to my face, and it was like one of the greatest things ever. Because like when you meet Bruce Campbell, you have to understand fandom of Bruce Campbell. You want him to make fun of you. You don't want him to be nice to you. Like, him being nice to you, you could be like, I met Bruce Campbell, he's a nice guy, but it's Bruce freaking Campbell. Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and his many TV shows, one of which is Ash versus the Army of Darkness, which is somewhat similar, but not entirely, but also has freaking, what's her name? Xena Warrior Princess is in that one. The actress, not the character. I can't think of the actress's name. Anyway, regardless, like, he's in some of the best things ever made, And like I met him, and but like his character in the best things ever made is always like snarky and mean to people, you know? And so like if he were like, "Oh, hey, part of my public, it is so lovely to meet you. Who should I make this autograph out to?" And I'd be like, "Oh, you know, breaking voice and whatnot, like a dingus, like you do when you meet Bruce Campbell." And yeah, like if he had just been super nice to me, I would have been like, "Well, that's not a story." you know, but because I was like 25 years old at the time and I had a full beard, and he was like, hey, what's going on with this full beard? And I'm like, the spinach chin. And he's like, yeah, whatever. Like you could tell he's like done with people quoting his lines at him. But anyway, so I'm like, what? I've just grown a beard. I don't like shaving. I'm like, that's the only reason I don't like shaving. I'm not doing it for any like fashion thing or whatever. And he's like, guy, you're in your mid-20s. You're never going to look better than you look right now. So like be proud of whatever face you have now, because it's only going to go downhill from here. And like, yeah, just made fun of me for having a beard and being a young guy, and was like, yeah, not thrilled that I'm one of these stupid fans who can quote all of his lines from all of his movies at him, like couldn't have been less personable, honestly. But also you could tell that he's being not personable in a way where he recognizes that that is the one quality that ties all of his characters together. And he's like, oh, okay, that's what my fans want. Like, yeah, if you went to go see, what's his name? The insult comic, Mr. Personality or Mr. Tenderness or whatever. Like, what is his name? You can picture him. He always hung out with Frank Sinatra. He had a ton of Sinatra stories, and he was the only person who could get away with like joking on Sinatra, and then being like, they're gonna find my body in a meat locker in Jersey, and like openly making fun of Sinatra's mob connections and whatnot in Vegas. And and Sinatra just laughing it off and just be like, he's the guy who called everybody a hockey puck. Why the freak? I can picture his face. I can't think of his name. Oh, God. It's going to be one of these. You know what? I will spare you. I will pause it. Okay. It was Don Rickles, and he was known as Mr. Warmth. Thank you. God. Anyway, if you were to meet Don Rickles and he didn't call you a hockey puck, you'd be like, why doesn't he like me? So to a certain extent, it's that way with Ash from Army of Darkness and the Evil Dead movies and all the other great things. Anyway, yeah, met him for a book signing of his second book, which was, Confessions of a B-movie Actor. If Chins Could Kill was his first book. Anyway, it was his second book. And, yeah, he was signing that, and he was doing a screening of Man with the Screaming Brain. Yeah. So saw that in the theater with him doing a Q&A, and got an autograph of the book. So, yeah, that was an awesome thing. And, yeah. Anyway, moving on. Oh, book number 5. Gashly Crumb Tinies by Edward Gorey. Okay, this freaking book is awesome. Like, for real, though. You wrap your brain around this. Okay, so he has this awesome, like, block printy, high contrast pen and inky style, very delicate line work and whatnot. Edward Gorey. And this is, like, he did a lot of, these books that were really, really dark humor, like super dark humor. And so this is an alphabet where all of these children die. And it's how all of these children die. And it's an alphabet. It's like A is for Anton, who fell off a cliff or whatever, like there'd be this like gorgeously well done pen and ink, or I forget if it's pen and ink or block print, but whichever. I love both mediums. And yeah, so like just gorgeous illustration of the darkest freaking most awesome content. And so I have this book, but I also have one of his collections, and I've only read portions of it, and it's really, really fascinating how like dark this man gets in his humor, and yet how beautiful it is. Like, oh my God, love it so much. If I were more secure in terms of like, because the guy I got my first tattoo from, like, his line work is really, really good, but I don't know if it's this good. You know what I'm saying? And I would want to know that it was this good before I got a tattoo of this, but I would love one of these tattoos. Anyway, oh my God, Matilda. Okay. So I love this book so much. Like, I really, really do. And it, honestly, like, every time I read it, it makes me cry. Like, I legitimately cry. Like, I really actually cry. And I know what the book is about. Like, I get it. I'm not dumb. Like, I understand it. And yet, still, I read this book and I'll just be bawling because I'm like, she's just a little girl and all she wants to do is read, and everyone is standing in her way. And she's just trying to acquire knowledge. And I'm like, I identify with her so much, but also like I feel for her so much as someone who teaches English for a living. I'm like, oh my God, and so I just, yeah, it gets me in the feels every time, every freaking time. When I read Candide, is the only book that can make me laugh every time I read it. I'll laugh out loud to myself. Like, I'll just be sitting alone laughing out loud to myself. Matilda is the book that I will just be sitting by myself, just bawling my eyes out. Like, she's just a little girl who wants to read. Like, she just wants like a stable home environment so she can read. Oh my God. It just, yeah, it gets me in the feels. No, I didn't cry when I was talking about it. That's what this is asking. Did I cry when I read it? Yes. God. Think you can make me cry? Anyway. Okay, that's enough for make attempt at funny. I don't know if any of this is going to work. I just finished and I wish I had one funny thing to say about any of this, but I don't. Guy, nobody watches this. Calm down. Seriously, Braxton, calm yourself. It's fine. Hope this doesn't suck, bro. Thank you for the hopes. It probably didn't, because I'm going to watch it later and be like, I did a thing. Can't believe I keep doing things. The end. This program was made possible by the Igneous and Gertruldina Buttcomer Foundation and by viewers like you. Promotional considerations provided by Ralph Morgan's Extra Strangly Snakes, the Lonely Ass Librarians Guild, Grandpappy True Reel's Foul-Smelling Balms and Gruels, and the one and only True God. This program was directed and performed by Rem Pemberton. Ha! We do sometimes remember to change it, Rem. Or is it Rem? Oh my God, you guys did change it. Like, it went for weeks without changing. Written by Braxton White Guy, one of many white guys on set at any given time, but he's a step up from the gaffers and grips we've never acknowledged. Oh my God, I'm just realizing that we have never acknowledged all the crew, the gaffers, the grips, the craft service people. Like, oh my God, there's so many people, hair, makeup, like who, wardrobe, we just, like even down to our script prompters, like so many people we don't acknowledge and don't ever say thank you for helping with the show. And we're not going to start this week. Moving on. Theme song by the Out of Tuners. Wait, did I play the theme song? I don't think I did. I read the thing, but it was in like Norwegian. This has always been the theme song. This has always been the theme. This has always been the theme song. This has always been the theme. Cha. Yeah, see, that's the one because it's all Scandinavian, so it's supposed to be like, hey, synth pop or whatever. A presentation of Non-Sober Badger Productions, a subsidiary of the large, boring-sounding corporation with surprisingly questionable business practices. Lawful Asset Holdings Incorporated, a branch of the intentionally vague corporation whose purpose may never be known, the Blaine Group. And communism, not dead yet, suckers. This week's Lucky Listener Weekend Getaway giveaway, Alfonso Fonzie Piccirilli. I wonder if he's related to the guy who stunt doubled for Henry Winkler back in the day. No, there's no way they could be the same guy. Guess we're giving a weekend getaway to well-known Hollywood stunt double, Fonzie Piccirilli. No closure. The end. Had this one in the slides last week and left it out because I'm Big Brain Smartman. Yeah, that's actual picture. Yep, you wanted it. Oh, well, stop wanting it. Hey, I've had a pretty interesting, fulfilling life. It's true. That makes it sound suicide-y, dingus. I was thinking when I wrote this, does it make it sound suicide-y? And I was like, no, everybody will get it. I'm just being grateful. No, we don't. You sound self-harmy. I'm not self-harming. Thank you very much. Did I show the cat? This is Ivory when she was getting tummy rubs, but like she doesn't usually want that kind of affection, and she was making a face like, I am loving this, but I am hating that I am loving this. Sometimes you're not okay with how you're doing because you're never doing that okay. Like, you're finally doing okay, and you're like, I don't know if I'm okay with this. I'm never doing like this. I'm always trying to be doing like this, but I'm never doing like this, and I'm worried. The real end. Seriously, let's end on this face. This sums up the whole process. Oh, God. What am I doing? I'm adding stuff on the end I already had. That's a good face. Oh. And now presenting Ms. Modest is Ms. Modest is Hottest 2021. Was this the best joke in the whole show? Just a black square that says shame? Did I show it? Yes, I showed it. God damn it. Like the actual end. for real this time. Yeah, that's the actual factual end. What a stupid ending. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed this one. We will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.